Hey guys, this week I'm going to show you how I made Maximus Kong from Mutant Apocalypse from the 2012 series. So it took me, I had some WWE figures I thought I was going to use for the body, but they weren't big enough. So I found a used Hulk figure online, and he's got an arm that's kind of broken, so I took his head off and took Leo's head off. The Leo was one that you twist his back or a thing in it sticking out of his back and his legs move. So I wasn't at all upset to sacrifice him to make this new Maximus Kong figure. But I started with my 3D pen and I did the shell, the basic shape, and now I'm using my soldering iron hot knife wood carving tool to cut his fingers, because all his fingers were stuck together. So now they're gonna be two fingers, and then I'm using the same, a different bit on the wood carving tool to melt and flatten out some of the shell, and that's for his front piece that's gonna go there. Now I have to make a circle, so it's just a keychain ring. I made a circle, and then this out of cardboard and masking tape, I made his feet. And now I'm going with some gray so I can see it better, and you can see it better too. And making the spikes on his back, and then smoothing around the ring that I made that's going to go on his chest. Now I'm adding 4 tabs that are going to have straps coming out of them to connect. And now I'm making the base of his boot, the sole of the boot, if you may. I like to get philosophical sometimes. But now I'm doing his shoe, just making the back and the front, and the rest for his boot, the top of the boot, I'm going to do with foam. I thought I could get a nice shiny shoe toe. But now I use the heat gun to warm up the shell, so I got it to the shape of his back. Now I'm gluing on that outline for his front shell, because he's got like a human type chest and abs, but in the episode Maximus Kong, and so I just made the outline like he has, and now I'm gluing down the foam for his boots that I had shaped out. And then the first thing I put the spackling in his belly button, because turtles don't have belly buttons, even though he's got the other human like abs and chest. He doesn't have a belly button because he was born out of an egg, I think. Yeah. And so I'm filling in all the cracks on the boots now with spackling. With the spackling. I keep slurring that, lisping, not slurring. I haven't been just drinking coffee. So I needed some little bolts, and I tried to find the closest thing that's a circle, and they were rhinestones from the dollar store. And the only ones they had in that small size were green, so I painted those black. Now I use super glue to glue down his shell. And I'm gonna spackle his face, but I had to cut off the back of his bandana first. So now I'm covering, and the reason I didn't take off the bandana, because if you take it off, you're left with just like a circle, and you have to put new eyes and stuff. So I just kept that as his brow line, and he's got a thicker head. So I built it up with the spackling, and then I sand and then wipe with a microfiber cloth. Now I mixed 2 greens and white and a drop of black to get this color for him, and start by painting his head. And then I was going to paint his body, but I remembered I have to fill in between his other fingers so that he only has 2 fingers instead of 4, and a thumb. I didn't make the thumb bigger, I should have, but I didn't think of it at the time. Now I'm covering everything with my green paint, because I used a white primer as the base for that, so it's just priming everything. So I can just use regular acrylics on the other pieces. Then I added some more spackling, because you can see the cracks or what you want to do more once the paint's on, or at least I can. because when I'm working on black or on white, it's a little tougher to see the little details until you paint it. So I give everything else another coat of that same green and white mix. And these are all the pieces I made. I couldn't find any spikes, so the closest thing I found were pearl bead silver stickers. Silver pearl bead stickers. They were like $1.25 each sheet, so the price was right. And I made the shapes out of 2mm foam, and now I'm painting silver the chest piece that I had made earlier, and how I glued them on was with tweezers, so one fell off so you could see it there. Now I mixed a little bit of that same green with a bunch of white, and I'm dry brushing over his arms and a little bit of his rib cage area, or hips. No, the hips are under the pants, but yeah, just to try and match the episode figure, or the episode character in this figure. So I painted his legs and boots all black, and now I'm painting his shell black. And I'm leaving some of the green and white showing through because it's going to add more details in the end. Now I didn't have a dark blue, so I just mixed some peacock blue with black and painted his pants, and now I have neon green. I got in his eyes, and now I'm using a toothpick just to trace over all the veins that are popping out of his arms and stuff with the neon green. It's a little hard to see from this camera, but I think you can see it better in the pictures at the end. And he also has neon green in the shell and a little more in his eyes because they're glowing like neon green. And I should have put a little blue pupil in there, but I forgot. And now is when he really starts to look like a turtle. I have raw sienna that I'm painting his underscoot or inner shell with. And yeah. Now I start to use some of those little rhinestones I painted. His boots have like straps around them. Actually, his whole figure, it seems like he got so big he's bursting at the seams because everything, all the straps are like bolted to his shell or just seem like they're all there to hold him together, not to hold things that he's wearing. But after I got those bootstraps on, I'm now covering everything with a matte varnish. It's an acrylic matte varnish. It and paints and most of the stuff that I didn't get from the dollar store is at the link down below if you want to check it out. They're Amazon links. Now I start to glue all the straps on that are going to hold all the little armor pieces that he has. And I like the color and the texture of the black 2mm foam, so I didn't even paint those except for a couple little spots where the super glue made it look like white and crusty. Now I hook up the straps for his chest piece. They're just glued down from one side, and then coming under the bottom I have their like little belt loops, and so I strung them through there so you can pull and tighten, or he can, but I just glued them down so that they don't move. And now these little ropes that he has bolted to his shell there, and I don't know if those are, because they're loose, I think they help hold his toys or weapons or something. I don't know, they look cool, but that was blue string, and I'd cut it and then burn the edges so that it doesn't fall apart. Now I'm adding a little bit of silver paint to the bolts that I put on his boots and on his chest there, or well, his abdomen, and start to use super glue to now put down all the last pieces that I had made. And wrapped around, wraps around his hands, and he's alive. That's what he looks like. Well, that's what he looked like. That's what he looks like now. This one was a long one to build, but I'm really happy with the results, I think. And I make new stuff like this every week, so until then, thanks a lot for joining. Always keep your head up. Peace.